Hi, thank you for joining me today. So I've been building a small vessel to the size of a capital vessel, and it's coming along, and I've put together 4 videos for that so far. So if you want to see how I've been progressing, what I've done, how I organise things to actually start this build, and where we're up to today, then go check those out. What I've done here is lay out all of the types of small vessel cockpits to actually take a bit of a look at them. We've got the unarmoured or the normal version here, and then over here we've got the armoured versions. You see the armoured version's got sort of a stronger, more sort of embossed and then actually extruded sort of, I guess, metal panelling on the outside, and the glass has a texture over it as opposed to the standard version, which is untextured, cleaner glass and thinner sort of wall structure. Right, so you know, texture there, you can see the difference there. It's got a lot of texture there, and this one doesn't have any texture at all. It's clear glass, so it's the unarmoured version. Alright, and just a comparison how they look. And these are the legacy ones, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sorry, not that one. 1, 2, 3 over here. They're sort of the, I guess, the original older style, which is still in the game, but yeah, you can look in there. It's got a sort of a different sort of detail to the actual displays, whereas this sort of a more of a finer, cleaner sort of a look. You know, a little bit less noise going on, but then, you know, different controls. So there are different variations. The screens, higher screen, more of a screen. So you got like sort of your fighter jet one. This one's good for digging, for building a vehicle for mining underground. Got a very low sort of set and armoured, so it works well. And then over here we've got the 2 open cockpits, which I'll have to use for this bridge. So either one of those 2. Now I'm sort of deciding which one it's going to be, because they both have good points and bad points to, you know, how they're going to work with this ship. And then this is the pilot passenger ship seat. So, you know what, thinking about this, it's probably going to have to be that one and that one, because these ones look fairly similar. So aesthetically pleasing style version, or style-wise, we need those 2. So, yep, not this one. Alright. It's got an LCD panel there, so that looks pretty cool. I started looking at glass panelling, being it's a small vessel, not a large capital ship. The panelling is actually rather small if you look at this, because the blocks we're dealing with are pretty small. So it's a single panel. This is your double. Right, so I can get away with like double panels, and they look small, but the reality is, yeah, they're actually a nice size. So double panelling. It's going to be interesting when we get to things like curves. So we're going to add some curves to this. Half curve. Yeah, that looks better. Half curve there. There we go. Rotate around. So square the corner. And there'll be a big arc. Again, because this is a small vessel, it's not really a large sort of look to it. It's actually pretty refined, and that is the idea, like the, you know, small blocks, not big chunky blocks. Always huge. I can just fit full lot of equipment there. Come down our stairs. So we're having some fun here. Looking at portals, right? So capital vessel portals, and come across this one, which is an interesting look. It's a sort of armoured sort of glass portal, but for a capital ship. And speaking of capital ships, here's my capital ship, called the Bug. And right now I've got a capital ship sitting inside a small vessel, so probably a bit of a change of events. They're usually the other way around, but I thought I'll do something different, do it the opposite way around. Anyway, yeah, what I wanted to demonstrate is this here. So why use a small vessel versus a capital vessel? The biggest question about why you wouldn't, or the biggest thought of why you wouldn't, would be does the small vessel actually have enough firepower? You can take on ground forces, space forces, air forces. You know, do you have the guns to take them out? Otherwise, you go capital vessel all the way, right? Yeah, it might look a bit blocky, but hey, you'll get the job done. So I had a look at that. So I've actually gone and calculated and had a look at all of the different items. So if I come in here, so I've gone through each gun, right? So each gun, grabbing its hit points, its power usage, its CPU usage, rate of fire, range, all that sort of details put together into a Excel type document. When it comes to turrets, this little triangle here basically indicates that there is more than one turret under that level. So we've got projectile turrets. So you select it. When you go to place it down, right, I'm going to find a capital vessel to put this on. Ah, here's a capital one. This one I prepared earlier. If I right click, now I've got the list of what's a projectile turret. In this case we have two cannon turrets, 2 of them, and 2 minigun turrets. Alright, so one's a retractable, one's not. No retractable one, for instance, it gives you a nice big block, but the gun itself, as the name suggests, retracts inside. So that one, as a capital vessel item, would be go inside its little block there. So it's already got an extra depth of one block, capital vessel block. We know what it is because look at that, there's one pane of glass, capital vessel. Yeah, so it's a one extra depth, but you could effectively build the walls of your capital vessel out of that, and then so I'll turn this on, so it's actually part of that. Up the middle. Let's go in. Right, if I close turrets, right, that'll retract any turrets that are retractable. And now if we take a look, our turret's actually gone inside, so that would become your outer wall right there, as opposed to you always seeing the guns. So you could look at, have a sleeker design on the outside, and then the guns poke out. Looks like that on there. But it's going to cost you an extra block in height, or depth there. And also when you do that, it's going to add a lot of extra weight. But that's pretty much what it do this again. Right, over here, like what we just look at there, so the minigun turret, for instance. Right, so mass is almost twice, so it's almost twice as heavy. So minigun turret that can retract, minigun turret that sits stagnant. There's a difference there. So we've got 6 of a rating, 6 rating, and 13.5 for the retracted version. And you see here it takes up the 3x2x3 size as opposed to 3x1x3. You can still have a maximum of 12 on your ship. Essentially that's what we're talking about. So you get a nice look. It's going to weigh a bit more. You're going to need to spend a bit more on fuel and thrusters to get this thing moving. But hey, why not? You get the looks. Alright, so CV wise, I've taken all of the the damages for all of the different weaponry, for the CV and also for the SV down here. I've taken rate of fire, or RPM, so I've basically gone damage times rate of fire, rounds per minute, divided by 60, which gave me the DPS, the damage per second. Right, so relatively speaking, the railgun, which has for the small vessel, which has a range of 800, which is not too bad. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. It actually has a DPS of 1853. Right, so 1853 is actually pretty good. Actually, I'd even say it's very good. Like, so on the capital vessel, you've got, looking at this, anything that comes up further than that, well, it's something like plasma turret and artillery turret are the only two that actually do as much damage as a rail gun. Now both of those are turrets, of course, which means you can fly by and duk 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 duk. They go off and shoot the enemy. You don't have to line them up. Whereas a railgun on a small vessel, you're going to have to actually line up and shoot. But then that's also fun. So hey, if it's still not the 17th when you watch this video in America, or 18th in Australia, you can pick up this Empyrion game for free on the Epic Store. Just saying, if you haven't already grabbed it, I don't know what you're doing. Worth grabbing. Even if you're not going to play it now, just grab it, queue it up in the store. I've got plenty of games I picked up on the Epic Store, and I've done exactly that. Just like, yeah, yep, queue them up, queue them up, queue them up. And then later on it's like, oh, I want to look for a game to play. Jump on there, look on the library, download it, play it, have fun. It didn't cost me a cent, just took a little bit of time, not too much at all. Alright, so CV gun-wise versus, so capital vessel versus small vessel, you've got, as I said, railgun, 800. The next in line, funnily enough, okay, so damage-wise, pulse laser on the small vessel is 1,140 per second. So that's still pretty good. Right, if you look at anything that's over 1,000, well, there is like sentry guns, obviously they're under 1,000 for the CV, so they're basically anti-personnel, little tiny things you put around. The interesting thing is that the damage per second on the rocket launcher is actually pretty low. Damage is 5,400, rounds per minute is 15. That gives you a damage per second of 1,350. So she's actually a lot lower than I thought she'd be compared to other things like projectile turret. A minigun turret is 2,125. And it only takes 15 millimeter bullets, which are actually relatively cheap to make. I think that'll be the next thing if I want to extend this, like chart out. Would be, how much does it cost to actually make a round? So like, it'll be like damage per second will be one thing. It'll be like cost per second to use the gun. Like, hey, what does it cost? Maybe that's the thing, but then that'll take a while. So if I have time, if you want it, let me know in the comments if you want that. If you want me to put that together, if that's something that's interesting, or if this video is interesting, do a like anyway. But if there's some more detailed information that you would like me to go through and sort of put on a spreadsheet and explain, to save you having to do it, then let me know in the comments, and I'll see what I can do. Maybe I'll get some time and whack that together. Take a break from building a ship and do something different. That's what ended up happening with the bug, which was a little CV thing down there, the blue and white one. Just back over here, this thing. All right, so I thought, while I'm building small vessel, I'm just going to take a break. So I did. So I built this bug. Let's get rid of this thing. Oh, it's going to take a while. Do. Take longer. And there we go. Alright, so yeah, small spacefaring vehicle. Based off my minimal build. Actually, it's based off my build a capital vessel in under 5 minutes and get into space from the planet's surface, which I actually absolutely achieved with this vessel. I went and then just changed the design a little bit. So instead of being 2x2, I've made it a 3x2. Add some panels on the outside, colour them in, make them all nice. Didn't have much room for the lights. I put the light inside, but it's got detector, it's got light, it's got an oxygen tank and a oxygen refiller. So if you go into space with this vessel, go out, check out like a space base, come back in, you can refill your air, and if you get shot, well, you've got a medical kit there as well. So it doesn't have everything, but it's got a few things, and it is pretty small and compact, which was the idea. And the joke is I've got a CV inside an SV, capital vessel sitting inside a small vessel, which is usually the other way around. Funny joke. I thought it was funny at least the first time, maybe the second time, but not the third time. Anyway, thanks for watching, and like the video if you like it, subscribe, and get my notified of my new videos as they come through. And I'm going to try and keep pushing them through as much as I can, especially if the content is interesting and actually worth watching. Please let me know. Please let me know if there's something particular, especially with Empyrion right now. Well, it's on the special, but you know, certainly after the Empyrion special finishes in say a day and a half, then we might tackle into something else, or at least we'll look for the next big special, and I'll keep my eye out on that, and if it's something good, then I'll grab that. In the meantime, if I take a break from this, I usually try and pick up another game, and I did actually have a look at a couple of games before, but I'm sorry to say that they didn't make the grade, you know, price versus fun, you know, time-wise. I did spend an hour on a car game recently. I won't even tell you which one it is, but yeah, it was interesting, but it's not on special right now, and certainly you know, compared to the Crew 2, which I got for $1.50 Australian, it was lacking, I would say. You know, about half the game for 10 times the money, actually more than 10 times the money. But anyway, thanks for watching. Bye for now, and see you in the next one.